Plasma disc teardown time. If you take a look at here, it looks like there's a crack, and actually there is. So this thing's actually been getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So whatever gas they had in here is actually slowly leaking out. So what I'm going to do is take it apart. I'm going to try to do it gently so that I can reassemble it. But I think its days are numbered. So here's the flip side. I've taken the batteries out. There's the tube there. Wire coming in. This will be the high voltage. So what I'm going to do is disassemble it now. Then I can create a schematic. There's just one screw holding it in there. They really saved money on this thing. Normally you see a plate going across and the springs arc welded on or whatever on. They just used a piece of wire and created the spring on this side, go across, and then the stubby spring on this side. So it's time to take this apart and create a schematic. So let's unsolder this wire. Screwdriver. Not a lot of screws on this thing. There we go. Let's just pop out that high-tech battery connector. That's actually kind of cute. And let's see, what do we have on this side? Okay, I can just pry that out. There's one. There's two. Come on. What else is holding you in? Oh, the switch. There we go. What's holding you in? Nothing. So here's a close-up of it. Zoom in a tiny bit more. Most of the components are on this side. You can see the traces. Thing is pretty well covered in flux. There's the other side. Mic and transformer and the switch. So now I'll create a schematic for it as much as I can and figure out what chips are on here. Decided to take the transformer off so I could see what was underneath it. This probably is not going to be going back together. One of the pins actually partially pulled out. And I'll see if I've still got continuity. Yeah, I got most of it. Now I just need to move the microphone to get at the last little bit. And the other pin. You're not going to wiggle off, are you? I can heat them both up at the same time. and pull. There we go. And off it comes. So now I can see the traces there. Might as well take the switch off also. There. Now all the traces are exposed. I kind of thought there was another one underneath that switch. Well, since this thing's fouled as is with one pin missing, it's nibbling time. Not sure if you can see it, but right about in there is actually the wire. It's just so super fine. So probably when I was desoldering it on this side, there's probably a very fine wire somewhere in here, which I can barely see. I can see the big coil, but that was super fine. So that was a desoldering fail. When I pulled that pin out on this side here, it was just because the epoxy didn't hold it in onto that very, very fine wire. And on this side, I could see the wire after I knocked out that piece, and it's super fine. So far, this schematic is going strong. This is basically just the wiring. Green is everything that's on the other side of the board where the transformer was. And getting a bit closer with this diagram here. And I've just got to clean it up a bit more. So I take this diagram, turn it around like that, flip it like that, and I get this much prettier. Just get this properly in focus. So everything on this side of it here, here's the windings from the transformer. This of course broke, so it's not going back together. There would have been a lot of windings in here. This would have been the primary, and here's the feedback. So this is all oscillating away. It's actually similar but not identical to this, which I did before, which was a plasma globe. So essentially everything from here over is mimicking this. It's got a bit difference in the feedback winding and the oscillating circuit, but it's the same idea. This side of it, of course, is basically there were 3 positions on the switch. Off. Self-explanatory. Over here, the whole thing's turned off on the negative rail. If it's on, this point here and this point here was connected. And what that does, if you just look at the circuit, is, well, this here is that point there. And I'm off the page. Go to the screen. There we go. And all of that there just reduces to this, because parts of it are not connected and the rest is irrelevant. Now, when the mic's on, that's different. This is connected to here, and if you want to go through and figure it all out, please do. but essentially you're generating an AC signal here, which is feeding through around, changing this one here, which is modifying it here. I'm really simplifying this, which then does this one, which then pulls this over here up and down, and hence turning this up and down. So you're going to have it going, well, if it had worked properly, it would expand out, then contract in relative to the amount of noise you're making. So that's about it for this. It's not going back together. I'm not sure if this got damaged in shipping or when I was playing with it with the magnet. And boy, that kind of looks like it could have been from the magnet. But that's about it for this one. It's not going back together. Somehow, it's not going back together. Well, have a good day. Sometimes they just don't turn out right.